Here with another lesson with Common Sense Golf. Thanks for watching these, and I really do appreciate all you guys and your comments and all the people that are taking lessons and that are really learning very quickly on how this kind of classic swing works. Real quickly, people talk about me teaching the Ben Hogan swing or whatever have you, but it's not really the Ben Hogan swing that I'm teaching. It's my swing. It's the Carey Hodsden swing. Now I use a lot of Ben Hogan analogies because his positioning was so great. Okay, it is so great. He struck the ball so well. But I also am thinking about Sam Snead. I'm thinking about Jack Nicklaus. I'm thinking about Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods. I'm thinking about Xander Schauffele. I'm thinking about a whole bunch of different guys on tour. Lately I've been thinking a lot about Jake Knapp. I love the way he moves through his downswing and through swing are very much what I want to see. His backswing is a little bit more modern, which is okay. All of that's okay. But he's so strong and is so limber that he can get away with some of those things. But I'll tell you what, the swing I'm trying to relate to you is what I think it needs to be. Okay, I'm not trying to teach you Ben Hogan swing or anything like that. Although, if you follow along with me, you're going to see a lot of similarities. Okay, you're just going to see a lot of similarities in our golf swings. Okay, now today, this is a really cool lesson. This lesson is about balance, okay, and your butt. I know no one's ever done a lesson about your butt before, but I'm going to do a lesson about your butt right now, okay? Furthermore, I'm going to show you why it's so important to keep your butt and your legs and your knees and your feet underneath your upper body. This is incredibly important, okay? And this is kind of a break from some of the modern teachings and kind of a break from even some of the classical teachings here. This is what I think ought to happen, okay? Because it works. Just that simple. It works. It's going to be simpler for you. It's going to be more connected. It's going to be less, driven by sequence. I mean, sequence is always going to be important, and there's a sequential piece to this. But I want you to feel like you're swinging your whole body through the impact. Okay, and the only way to do that is to keep your lower body underneath your upper body. Now, what do I mean by that? Back in the day, and I've kind of mentioned this a couple of times in other lessons, but I'm going to really get into it a little bit here today, granularly. That's a cool word, but it's difficult to say. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to think about the old guys like the old classic, not super classic, but maybe we're talking 70s, okay, 70s, early 80s. The Johnny Millers and Time Weiskopfs and those kind of guys. What they did was they went back, they took their golf swing back and, took it back high, right? And then when they came through, because their hands were so high, they needed to make sure that they had enough time to get their hands down into the hitting area, okay, to swing and kind of sweep the ball the way they like to do. And the only way that they could figure to do that, I think that they were trying to copy Ben Hogan to a point, but they didn't understand how Hogan really was doing what he was doing. Okay, and I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that Johnny Miller didn't understand golf. That's not what I'm trying to say. But they didn't have the tools that we have now to break everything down in the way that we can to really find out what muscles were firing, how the body was moving through the impact area. Okay, so I think that they kind of saw what they saw, with Hogan kind of finishing with his pelvis kind of forward and his belly kind of forward here, and they thought, well, if I do it this certain way, I can get that same look, okay? But that look is not what's important, and that's not how Hogan got to that look, okay? Or Sam Snead, or Bobby Jones, or Mickey Wright, or any of the great classic swingers, okay? This is not how they got there, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. All right, so Johnny and Tom Weiskopf, the club would go up, right, separating their elbows from their body, which I'm not a big fan of. So they get up here, and then what they would do is they would throw both of their knees together laterally and their hips laterally so that they had enough time to get the club down, okay, and then come underneath it the way they liked to do back then, underneath and up, okay? So they would move this way, and they would come this way, and they had to keep their head back because if they didn't, with their legs moving forward, they wouldn't be able to hit the back of the ball, okay? They would get out in front of it. That's why back then they were not very good at driving the golf ball consistently. Not like Jack Nicklaus was, not like Ben Hogan was. Okay, they just were not as good. Um, Greg Norman later came around and he kind of made some adjustments to that move. Kind of still did it, but he made some adjustments to that move, and he made sure that his head stayed behind the ball, and it was one of the greatest drivers to ever play the game, okay, of the golf ball. All right, so they would go this way, knees would go under, head would stay back, and now my lower body is now no longer underneath my upper body, and my back hurts just doing it, frankly. So what I want you to do is not that, okay? I want your lower body to stay underneath your upper body. Okay, and it's going to make, I'm going to show you a move that you're not going to believe. You're going to say, hey, wait a minute, Carey, that's backwards from what everybody else is teaching you, or out in YouTube land, or in the the golfing guru stratosphere. I don't care. Okay, I don't care. This will help you. This will help your back from getting sore. This will help your strength level. This will help your timing. This will help your sequence, all right? And this is also going to help your power and your accuracy tremendously, all right? Yes, golf is played from the ground up. No, we don't throw our knees or our hips out in front of us because it doesn't work, okay? Not consistently, okay? And it causes, it really does cause back problems, okay? We don't want that either. I want your hips turning more level, okay? So how does that work? We get set up to the golf ball here. Okay, and as we go back and we get into our position here, I want you to watch this. When I recenter myself, so I go up, as I'm setting my wrist, I recenter to the center here, so then I'm about 50-50 on my heels here, okay? And then I'm sitting in to my heels here and rotating. Now watch. Watch my butt. I rotate, and it looks like my butt is moving backwards. Okay? It almost looks like I'm reloading onto my right side, and I almost am. Okay? Almost. But you got to remember, I'm also moving forward, so in real time, it's going to look like I'm moving forward, not back. But what you need to feel is you need to feel once you get up here and you start screwing into the ground, into your heels here, and notice how my feet stay on the ground. Okay? I'm not up like this. I'm rotating, my hips open, my pelvis open, but I'm staying on the ground, and my butt is moving back. Why? Because I want my hips to stay underneath my upper body, okay, for balance. If I go this way and I move in this way, now my hips are still underneath my upper body. My butt is still back, counterbalancing my chest and my head, which it must do. Your body must counterbalance itself. North, south, east, and west. It must counterbalance itself, okay? You got to keep your head, your sternum, and your pelvis in a line. They got to stay in the center, in my opinion, okay? Take that for what it's worth. But in my opinion, they need to stay in the center. If you're able to do that, you're able to rotate around the entire axis. Not just your spine angle in the top of your, upper half of your body, but all the way down to your tailbone. I want you rotating around the entire axis. Okay? If that sounds like axis, it's axis, but it's coming out of my mouth that way. I don't know why. All right. So axis meaning A-X-I-S. All right. All right. So here we're back. We've got a full shoulder turn. Okay. I'm rotating, my head staying behind the golf ball. Notice like it looks like I'm still back behind, but my weight is also over here, okay? And as I release and I continue to rotate, then I just push off of this, the inside of this, and my heel and my ball of my right foot. Once I get here, I just push off and bang, I'm done. It's that simple. It all stays underneath me. You're going to feel like your butt, I'm going to turn around here now. You're going to feel like when you go over here and you screw into the ground that your butt moves backwards. See this? And then when you finish, you're going to be all the way over here on your left side. You're going to feel that, okay? But in real time, which I'll show you right now, that's not how it looks. It's how it feels, but it's not how it looks. And it's not what's really happening, okay? It's going to feel that way to you, just like I like to feel my head fall backwards as I'm swinging forward. You guys have heard me say that in some other lessons. That's in an effort to keep my head behind the ball so I can see the back of it, which is the part I'm trying to hit. But my head's not really falling backwards, is it? Okay, when you watch me swing, it looks like it's just staying in the center. But I feel like it's going this way. Okay? Same type of feeling with our butt, our hips. Okay? So I'm going to go up, push this thing back, get into position. I'm going to screw myself into the ground. I'm going to stay right here. My head's going to feel like it falls back. Okay? I'm going to release my through the ball as I push through, and I'm done. Okay? Because I've kept it under me, because I've kept my hips underneath my body as I've screwed into the ground and I've opened my pelvis, my turn is almost done before I've even struck the ball. Before I've even made contact with the ball, my turn is almost done. Okay? And then once I've made contact with the ball, I just continue by pushing off this right side, and I'm done. And I'm in perfect balance every single time because I'm not throwing my hips way out in front of me and then trying to get trying to turn through while I'm still back here, and then trying to get, trying to keep this side bend and all this other crap. I mean, it hurts so bad to even think about it. Now, I did it too. I mean, I tried it all. I wasn't very consistent with it. Hit some good shots, but man, I had back pain morning, noon, and night. Okay, I had all kinds of weird pain. I had hip pain, I had knee pain, ankle pain, neck pain, because I'm trying to do something that just doesn't make any sense. I want this whole complex, my neck, my cervical and my lumbar spines, okay? I want them in line, but I want them in line with my tailbone, all the way down, okay? All the way down. I want these legs underneath me, okay? I think this is imperative, and I think that this is going to be a really good lesson for you. Get your mind out of the mindset that you're going to take this club way up and you're going to throw your leg and your hips way out in front of you. Okay? All you're doing is hurting yourself, and you're creating more problems, more sequencing problems, timing problems, strike problems, and physical pain problems. Okay? And you can even damage yourself. I got buddies, PGA professionals that have been, that have gone through horrible surgeries and things like that for their lower backs because that's the way they swung back then. Okay, and they can't even function as very well right now because of the problems that they go through. Okay, I don't want this for you. Keep your butt underneath your body. Okay, so let's just give you a quick couple little demonstrations here, and let's see if we can do this right. So we're going to go here, and once we get here, we recenter, we rotate, coming around. We're coming around, right? And we rotate and come around. We release under, and then push off to the finish. Okay, something like this. Okay, we'll do one more of those just so you can kind of get the feel. I'm going to do it in kind of slower motion, like 50% speed, so you can get an idea. And if you want to slow it down, you can look at it yourself. And then someday soon, I know I've promised this, I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I will. I'm going to create some cyber vision, some cyber carry. Okay, I'm going to get you from probably 4 or 5 different angles with a repeating swing, with about 2 minutes of repeating swings from each angle. So you guys can break it down. You can put it in even slower motion than that, and you can really get a feel for the rhythm and the tempo, and then how we the mechanical aspects of the swing that I'm trying to relate to you. Okay, so one more. This is about keeping your butt underneath your body. Okay, keeping your hips underneath your chest. Okay, here we go. We're going to push it back. We're going to lean in to recenter. Then we're going to rotate around. We're going to release. And then we're going to push off. Here we go. Nice and slow. Okay. Now, even on those swings, I know that you watched those swings, and you said, and especially even on the last one, gosh, Carey, your butt didn't move backwards. Oh, yes, it did. Because if it didn't, my hips would have been way out in front. Okay? So that's my point. You're going to feel a certain way, but it's not going to look how you feel. It's just going to help you stay more centered and more balanced. So this has been the butt lesson. Thank you for watching. I'm Carey Hodsden, PGA. and with Common Sense Golf. And I look forward to talking with you again about your swing, and that'll be very, very soon. See ya.